will sit down my blanket on the green and grassy ground with my horses and my cattle, they're all grazing all around. Paint, oh, paint, I'm leaving Cheyenne. Goodbye, my little doggies, I'm leaving Cheyenne. Paint, oh, paint, I'm leaving Cheyenne. Goodbye, old paint, I'm leaving Cheyenne. Paint's a good pony and she paces when she can. Farewell, dear ladies, I'm leaving Cheyenne. Farewell, dear ladies, I'm leaving Cheyenne. Goodbye, my little doggies, my pony won't stand. Paint, oh, paint, I'm leaving Cheyenne. Goodbye, old paint, I'm leaving Cheyenne. Paint's a good pony and she paces when she can. I'm unplugging this. What? Oh, hold on. I don't like to. I don't like to stand when I play guitar, and I don't like to stand when I play banjo either. I tune because you care. I'll play three. I'm just gonna play a bunch of these instruments. Usually, I like pick one up and then put one down and whatnot. But today, because I have a short attention span, and that's why I have all these instruments here. But today, we're gonna do a departure from that usual procedure and just like play some fiddle and then play some guitar and then play some mandolin and play some banjo type of thing. And then we'll close up. Yeah, I got two fiddles here. The first fiddle I just played is a cross tune fiddle. G D G D is the way it's tuned. It's a West Virginia style of tuning, and you get kind of a drony sound out of that instrument that way. And that's one of the reasons I was playing that. And then I have another fiddle here that's tuned just like a regular violin. A G, D, A, E are the strings. Actually, interestingly enough, mandolin is tuned the exact same way as a violin, G, D, A, E. So it's a short hop from playing the mandolin to playing the fiddle, except you got to learn how to do that bow thing, which is just a killer. It'll take you forever.
It might just be eating up too much bandwidth. No, it's definitely, yeah, we got a hard line.
Yeah, it looks like
Had a bunch of two routers on.
I tune because you
So,
can.
what's plugged into
So we'll start out this guitar section here with a tune called Incident on the Brigador Trail. I live on a Brigador Trail, so does Becca. And I've been down there 27 years. That is a very strange street that runs along the Grand River, Class A flood zone. And we live in an elevated house over on there. That street there, Brigador Trail. We've seen lots of different incidences over there. We've seen, saw a snapping turtle with the size of a 16-inch truck tire once. An old female just swimming real slow up the river. We see regularly mink swimming across the river, going from point A to point B. We've seen, there's all kinds of interesting characters that live along the river too. And we've seen them do a number of different things. Neighbors feuding and shooting up their porches, each other's porches at 3 in the morning with pistols and all sorts of rigmarole. And out of that, all that distilled one night, this little melody jumped into my head, and I thought, wow, it kind of sounds a little bit like my neighborhood, with deer in the backyard eating the hostas and whatnot. So it's in the key A minor. If you're humming along, you're welcome to hum. And she goes like this. A little more of this guitar in the monitor, please.
I'm also thinking this cable might even be too long. Because I know with USB you have a maximum of 15 feet before it degrades to USB 1.
I've got two USB extensions, so I can probably lowering the bandwidth.
Yeah. But like I know with like this mixer it doesn't.
It might have, well, no, never mind. I don't have that
was a star of the Grand Ole Opry from 1925 to 1961. And, when he passed away, he was an old banjo player. You know, he wore a bowler hat and he had a mouthful of gold teeth and what they call a gated collar. It's a collar that you snap on and you put a little tie on there. And back then, people just wore shirtless collarless shirts. But he was a freighter, and he had one of these 20-mule teams with a big old wagon, and he'd haul freight from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, down to Nashville, back and forth. And he made his living at that. And then on the weekends, he would play banjo for dances and entertain the neighbors and things like that. He's quite a character. He was a beloved fella. And
There it is.
with the engine, it'll be gone in a minute. People go back to using horses and mules. Well, of course, that didn't happen. So all of a sudden, he's out of work, and he's an older guy, and you know, he's hitting his early 60s, and he doesn't have a livelihood. And everybody's saying, "Well, you've been playing the banjo your whole life. You just go on the road and sing songs and make money that way." So he enlisted the aid of a couple of young brothers, Sam and Kirk McGee from Sunny, Tennessee, and there's a guitar player and a bass player, and then the three of them went around and they made a killing on that. Well, the Grand Ole Opry was just starting up back then. That was on WSM radio, and that radio station was owned by the National Life and Death Insurance Company. WSM stands for, to this day, stands for We Shield Millions, and they still produce the Grand Ole Opry. And they got Uncle Dave on board there in 1925, and then when he wasn't busy on a Saturday night, he was down at the Grand Ole Opry doing all his annex and twirling his banjo around and telling stories and singing songs. One of the songs he loved to sing all the time was this old one, "Sail Away Ladies," and he played it rather enthusiastically. We're going to play it a little more sedately, more like a lullaby, and we're going to think about Uncle Dave Macon while we play this. And so that's another one. Okay, this is your homework. Henry Reed, look him up on a Google search engine, and Uncle Dave Macon. And there's one video out of Uncle Dave Macon, and he's on some kind of big variety show, him and his son. And he's playing his banjo, his son's playing guitar, and he's like spinning this banjo around. Look him up, it's greater than all you get out. And it's the heritage, it's the roots of modern country music. So here's that old Sail Away Lady. She goes like this. Now whenever I get my new house done, sail away, lady, sail away. I'll give my old one to my son. Sail away, lady, sail away. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, lady, sail away. Join us on that if you'd like. Sail away, ladies. I chews the back and I spits the juice. Sail away, lady, sail away. I'll tell you more, but it ain't no use. Sail away, lady, sail away. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, lady, sail away. I got a letter from Richmond town. Sail away, lady, sail away. It said St. Louis, she's burning down. Sail away, lady, sail away. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, lady, sail away. Now, I don't know, but I've been told, sail away, lady, sail away. These streets of heaven, they's made of gold. Sail away, lady, sail away. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, lady, sail away. A nod to Jimmy. Now purple haze all through my mind. Sail away, lady, sail away. Excuse me while I kiss this guy. Sail away, lady, sail away. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, lady, sail away. I will go and build my scaffold high. Sail away, lady, sail away. So I can see Becca, she's riding by. Sail away, lady, sail away. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, lady, sail away. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Sail away, lady, sail away. That's for Uncle Dave. Oh, thank you. That's a fun song to play, and I never get tired of it. And then, we had old Nick Cruz, who used to be a banjo player with the Hawks and Owls back in '97 when this band was formed. And I think he brought that tune into the band. I did some research on it, found out where it came from. He's the one that added that purple haze all through my mind. Excuse me while I kiss the sky, or guy, that Jimi Hendrix verse there. So that's I guess that's the folk process, though, huh? Taking old folk music, we add stuff to it. We add our little personal spin on different things, and it just like rolls along, and the young people learn it. And I know there's a number of young people that are singing this song that they got off of me, and they're singing that Jimi Hendrix verse in there. I said, I got a disclaimer here. Don't point it at me. So we'll do one more guitar tune here. We'll do a tune, another one that I wrote called Otter Stomp. And this is, like I said, we live on the Grand River, and it's the longest river in the state of Michigan, and she drains 5,070 square miles, a watershed. That's a chunk of water, a chunk of property that's feeding into that Grand River. And we do a lot of stuff on the river. We, for years, have founded and produced the Grand River Water Festival. Had a 10-year run on that, and we have a nonprofit, Grand River Watershed Arts and Music Council, where we do environmental education through music. We got a Mud Puppies environmentally themed music program, after-school music program, in the Grand Rapids Public Schools, and getting kids out and getting them on the river, and also teaching them music and whatnot. So a lot of stuff we do with that river. Well, what happened to me, I have all these really cool experiences that happen. And one of them was one day, it was a hot July day, and I was upriver, and there's a really nice creek up there, ice cold creek, and I went and laid in it. And then I was coming back down river, just punting along, and I see this cut bank, and it was probably about 12 feet up, and it was scalloped out, and there's grass hanging over the top of it like an old guy's mustache. And I pulled up on the bank, and I found my way up to the top of there, and there was a meadow up there full of wildflowers, and like I said, it's pretty hot out and it was sunny, and you could see the dust motes in the air, and the sound of insects was just mesmerizing, and it was putting me into a nap state. And I laid down on the grass there, and just smelled the sunshine and listened to those insects. And before you know it, I start drifting off. I was laying up there in that meadow. I was right by that cut bank because I wanted to see what it looked like. And just as that waking, falling asleep spot that you're at, and then all kinds of magic happens in that moment. I saw myself kind of nudging up to the edge of that cut bank. I could hear some really interesting music going on. So I edge up to the side of that cut bank, and I look over the side, and there's like a scene out of that book, Wind in the Willows. Anybody ever read that, Wind in the Willows? Yeah, that is one of my favoriteest books. And there was a scene out of that, and down below me was this deck, and I looked underneath that cut bank, and it was just like there's a house underneath there. There's a round door, a couple of round windows with gingham curtains in them, and there was all kinds of stuff going on that deck there, and there's all these woodland creatures there, and there was this music going on, and there's a northern pike playing the fiddle, and a muskrat slapping the bass, there was a beaver playing the mandolin, and they were just tearing it up. Mink playing the guitar, they're tearing it up, and there were some other critters. There's some mink and some muskrats that were dancing, and some of those sandhill cranes and blue herons moving around, and there's some tables set up, and there was this muskrat gal in kind of a gingham dress with a tray. She had a bunch of like pints of stout on it, and these roasted rodents on sticks, and she's serving a table of mink over there. I'm watching this, and I hear this commotion coming downriver, and there's a whole slew of otters. There are about a dozen of them, and they're moving along, and then all of a sudden they erupt into play and start tumbling all over the place, and they break apart, and then they orderly fashion coming down the river down to this party that I'm watching, and this is the sound that I was hearing. Thank you, Otter Stomp. So see how we planned that? We're going to do the guitar and the banjo back to back. So then when we're done with this banjo business, then I can get back up again. We'll get back up and stand and look like we're a high energy string band rather than a couple of slouches sitting around. Speak for myself, she says. So my name is Bruce Ling, and this is my wife, Becca Ling. And and this is part of a band called Hawks and Owls. We add more band members as needed. We're the house band for the Grand River Folk Art Society's Contra Dance series. We play contra dances all over the place. We produce dances and a number of great callers that we bring in. And so if anybody's interested in that, see me. I'll give you a business card. We do house concerts. We do backyard parties. We do all sorts of things. I'm a regular at Wheatland. I receive grants from the Wheatland Music Organization and Bliss Festival and the Northern Michigan Songwriters in the Round to teach young people that I feel are capable of carrying on oral tradition. I'm recognized as having a bunch of stuff in my head here that old folks put in there. And I'm a carrier of oral tradition. That's the information that's passed on from older generations to younger generations, oral tradition. So I'm part of that, plugged into that. So I give lessons on fiddle, mandolin, guitar, banjo, cello, and voice, if anybody's interested in that. And we do them via Skype, or we've been doing them outdoors in our backyard. I pulled the motor home in the backyard and opened the canopy up, and we dressed it up to look like a music festival. And so we've been doing live stream concerts out of there and then doing my lessons there. So we're gonna play some banjo music. This banjo here, if you look on the back, it's open. There's not a resonator on this banjo. This is not a bluegrass banjo, nor should you ever mistake it for such. And this is an Appalachian style banjo, open back, built in 1923 in Boston by the Fairbanks Vega Company. It's called a tubaphone number 3 is the model. The number 7s are all decorated on there. I started playing banjo. I'll tell you briefly, a real brief story. My mom wasn't doing too good. She was circling the drain for a few years, and then she passed away. And her last words to me, in that feeble, shaky voice that you have on your way out, she says, "You got to get yourself a motorhome and a banjo." And those were her last words, I swear to God, on earth. So a couple weeks later, I was over at the original Michigan Fiddlers Association gathering over in Morley, Michigan, and an old fellow, Paul Bennett, I've known for years, old fiddle player. He comes in, he takes one look at me and turns around, walks out the door. Everybody's like, "Wow, what's going on with Paul?" He looked at you funny, and he left. And he comes back about 10 minutes later. He's got a sack, a grocery sack, with a banjo neck sticking out of it. It's an old Daisy banjo Sears Roebuck was selling back in the 1890s. He says, "Here, take this home, learn it, live it." He didn't know my mom from Adam, so I thought that was pretty strange. 2 weeks later after that, a really cool vintage motorhome dropped in our lap. So last words of Mom. So now I'm a banjo player, and people said, "Be careful, because they'll reproduce." And sure enough, before I knew it, I had 3 banjos in the house. So I learned how to play banjo pretty quick, and then it's a very difficult instrument to play, and I don't know why people make jokes about it. It's to do the right hand thing is a killer. But once I started learning, I started transferring a bunch of tunes I had in my head, songs, and one of them was that old Wild Bill Jones, and bluegrass. It's a bluegrass song, and I've been singing for years with the mandolin or the guitar, and so it didn't really work for me to play it the way I'd played it before, or the traditional way to play it. So with the banjo, so I kind of revamped the tune and made it my own. So she goes like this. I stepped out and I made my evening walk. I came upon that Wild Bill Jones. He was walking and a courting my own true Lula. I bid him to leave her. He said, "My age, it be 21 years. I will not be controlled." So I drew my revolver from my side, destroyed that poor boy. Let's all pass round that long neck bottle, and we'll go a-walking on a spree. For today saw the end of that Wild Bill Jones. Tomorrow will be me. He reeled and he staggered and he fell to the ground. He gave one dying moan. He wrapped his arms around my dear Lula's neck, saying, honey, take me home. So put those handcuffs on me, boys, and lead me to the freight car gate. I've no one for to go my bail. I surely sealed my fate. Let's all pass round that long neck bottle and we'll go walking on a spree. For today saw the end of that Wild Bill Jones. Tomorrow will be me. They sent me to prison for 20 long years. This poor boy longs to be free. That Wild Bill Jones and that old corn liquor, they've been the ruin of me. Let's all pass round that long neck bottle and we'll go walking on a spree. For today saw the end of that Wild Bill Jones. Tomorrow Wild Bill Jones. I have to retune, so Becca's going to tell you a story.
Do you want to hear a story about banjos? I just really want to thank LowellArts for having us out here. This has been a really challenging year, I know, for people putting on festivals and events, and we've run into that as people who produce events. And this is really a beautiful alternative, so thanks to John Winger and having everyone out here and to play in front of a live audience. I mean, this is really amazing to have your faces here and your energy in front of us. Though I know that many more people are watching this, this makes it really special and a very intimate space here. So I want to thank everyone for coming out and for wearing masks and for being careful and taking care of yourself and your neighbor. It's important. Are you almost there?
Yep.
All right.
There's three tunes that you would find at a contra dance. They're common tunes. Julianne Johnson, a Spotted Pony, and Sadie at the Back Door. They're what you call square tunes. There's 16 beats in an A part. You repeat that A part, and so then you got 32 beats, and then a B part, and then 16 beats of a B part. You repeat that, another 32, 32, and 32, 64 beats total. And ironically, or strangely enough, contra dances and square dances are generally 64 beats as well. So we'll be playing for a contra dance, and sometimes those things will go about 15 minutes. I'll get bored, distraction, if I have to play the same tune over and over again for 15 minutes. So I'll tell the band, okay, we're going to do these three tunes or these two tunes, and I'll give a little hoop like this, whoo, and then the rest of the band knows I'm going to change the tunes. And I change those tunes right at the end of the dance because the tunes are 64 beats and the dance is 64 beats. So it works pretty good. Sometimes we'll change keys, and then that energy changing the keys will lift those dancers' feet right off the floor. It's pretty cool stuff. So here's that old Julian Johnson. These are all in the key of D for those of you humming along. And we welcome you to do that. She goes like this. There you go. Some old time tunes. Anybody here Neil Young? Yeah. Oh, so we'll do a Neil Young song here for you. Off the On the Beach album, 1974. I was just so in love with Neil Young when I was a kid, and then he came out with that On the Beach album in 1974, and I graduated from high school in 1975, and the very first thing I did was grab my guitar and go to Southern California to be the next Neil Young. So never quite made it there. Had a great time for a year and a half, busking on street corners and whatnot. But he plays for the Turnstiles on that record, but he uses a git banjo. It's a guitar with a resonator head on it. And so when I started playing banjo, I said, man, I got to play that. I got to play that for the Turnstiles. So she goes like this. All the sailors with their seasick mamas hear the sirens on the shore, singing songs for pimps with tailors who charge $10 at the door. You can really learn a lot that way. It will change you in the middle of the day. Though your confidence, it may be shattered, it doesn't matter. All the great explorers are now in granite caves, under white sheets for the great unveiling at the big parade. You can really learn a lot that way. It will change you in the middle of the day. Though your confidence, it may be shattered, it doesn't matter. Bush League batters are left to die on the diamond, while in the stands the home crowd scatters for the turnstiles, for the turnstiles, for the turnstiles. Over the turnstile. Time for one more tune, right?
Sure.
Okay.
So this is your church part of the show. So if you hear this song, you're good until next week.
I played Little Circle.
Are we going back to the Grand Ole Opry, Bruce?
Going back to the Grand Ole Opry, yeah. Yeah. I was playing this song once at the kitchen table when I was younger, and my mom comes in. She says, "That's the gospel plow. Roy Acuff used to play that on the Grand Ole Opry all the time." I said, "Wow, that's nice to know." Well, I got my hands on the gospel plow, and I wouldn't take nothing for my journey now. Keep your hands on the plow, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hands on the plow of God. Now Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John, all them prophets, they be dead and gone. Keep your hands on the plow, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hands on the plow of God. Now I don't know, but I've been told the streets of heaven they's a made of gold. Keep your hands on the plow, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hands on the plow of God. Now the Jordan River should be deep and wide, and there's myself on the other side. Keep your hands on the plow, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hands on the plow of God. Well, I got my hands on the gospel plow. I wouldn't take nothing for my journey now. Keep your hands on the plow, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your hands on the plow of God. Thank you so much for having us out here in LowellArts. Support LowellArts and your community ventures and art in general.